So JP Morgan basically just killed XRP. XRP is over with. Stick a fork in it. It's done. I'm going to go ahead and call it now. So sorry, guys. I've even said before on this channel that XRP I thought was a medium, short-term to medium-term buy and a long-term sell. And this is why I said that. And that's not financial advice. That's one cryptocurrency enthusiast's opinion. So don't take anything I say as for financial advice. And I'm going to explain why. By the way, I think JP Morgan is going to literally kill off XRP, and I'm not kidding about that. But I also think that this runs the risk of harming, potentially killing decentralized cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. And I'll explain that here in a moment. But first, let me bring you this channel's sponsors today. First up is, oh, never mind, not this one. This is my little gambling app here. I'm running a little experiment, running up some Satoshi. That's not it. FOMO 3D. This video is brought to you by FOMO 3D. I want to thank my sponsors over there at, no one actually paid me for this video, but FOMO 3D is one of the most exciting things that's currently happening in the blockchain space right now. They have gotten the attention of some big whales on the blockchain. There's someone with like a 20,000 ETH wallet they were talking about in Discord that threw in, a little bit of ETH, just kind of watching it, probably just sticking their toe in the water. Round 1 was the biggest round with 10,000 Ethereum, and I believe we're currently in round 9. Round 9 may eclipse 10,000. That's my guess. I'll put a link down below. It's not an affiliate link or anything. You can just feel free to click on it and see what it's all about. Come here to miscellaneous, click on the wiki quick start guide, and check it out. It's pretty interesting. It's extraordinarily fascinating, and it's got some pretty sexy colors on it, if you ask me. All right, I'm just having fun today. Let's get down to business. JP Morgan, how are they going to kill? Let's talk about this article. Let's read the article, then I'll stop and talk about it a little bit. And at the end of this article, I don't think a lot of cryptocurrency enthusiasts, especially the long-term hodlers who think, like me, that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency can transform the world that we live in, I don't think most of them have really thought this scenario of mass adoption through. And I think there's several forks in the road ahead, and I believe that truly, I think mass adoption is inevitable. The question is how fast, and I think that there's going to be a fork to the left, which is always going to be a detour, and there's a fork to the right that's going to keep leading us that much closer to mass adoption. And I think far too often, most likely, society and economics and cryptocurrency is going to fork a left, which means that we're just going to get delayed a little bit longer. It's going to be a detour before we get back to the main track, which is always going to be, taking the fork to the right. So we'll talk about that in a moment, but let's just go through this and then hang tight to the end of this article because I've got some killer news for you. So JP Morgan Chase, the largest bank in the United States by a long shot, shocked the financial community on Thursday by launching its own blockchain product. For the purpose of this article, JPM coin will not be referred to as a cryptocurrency. The JPM CEO, Jamie Dimon, is a frequent target of derision, I think that says, in the crypto community, owing to his outspoken negativity as regards to Bitcoin and the wider crypto markets. Dimon has frequently said that while he's not a fan of Bitcoin, he believes the blockchain can be a boon to finance. Despite his years-long triads, JP Morgan has been in the crypto space for years, reportedly handling Bitcoin trades, while Dimon goes on television to decry Bitcoin a fraud. And if you're in this space at all, this is an article, and if I can remember, I'll put a link down in the description, but this is an article that you should have all of your friends read and then highlight certain parts, like this right here. Because people need to realize that stuff like this is happening. And most people don't realize that the manipulation that's around them that's occurring all the time. It amazes me how many people are clueless to that stuff. Let's keep going. JPM coin highlights definition of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency has many definitions in the world. Stay tuned. I'm getting to the XRP spot. XRP is finished. I am so sorry if you are invested in XRP. I rarely talk this strongly. The best thing you can do is plan an exit. That's what I'm not going to tell you to sell today, but you need to plan an exit because it's coming to an end fast. There is no way on this planet XRP is going to ultimately be able to beat this machine. But let's keep going. whatever this is, defines it as a digital asset, defines cryptocurrency as a digital asset designed to work as a medium of exchange using cryptography to secure the transactions, to control the creation of additional units, and to verify the transfer of assets. Notice nothing mentioned in the base definition about mining tokens. Apparently even tokens with reversible transactions, can allegedly be cryptocurrencies. Not according to the Bitcoin white paper. Perhaps this definition doesn't do justice. Hang on, this is important though. People need to realize that the mass public is going to ultimately hear about cryptocurrency, but they're going to hear it from this perspective right here. Oh yeah, it's okay, your bank can reverse the transaction. And they're going to scream for it. They're going to want transactions to be reversible. That's what you've got to understand. This is why mass adoption is still a little ways out. But perhaps this definition doesn't do justice to the nature and spirit of cryptocurrency. Let's look at the properties of Bitcoin as opposed to the US dollar. Bitcoin is meant to be digital cash, as outlined in the white paper. Transactions cannot be pulled in the base protocol, meaning they can't be like refunded, as they can with bank accounts and credit cards, which is the basis of most fraud. That's important to realize. The nature of cash is that he who holds it essentially owns it. It's really no different with fiat, except you sometimes need lawyers to ensure your ownership. The bank may steal or lose your funds. In Bitcoin, as long as you hold your keys, you own your money. You become your own bank. And it's important to note that literally nobody can take it from you as long as you keep your private keys private. Two other aspects of the Bitcoin definition are important as well. Bitcoin is decentralized, meaning that there's no central point of control. Instead of a complicated command structure of account representatives and middlemen, Bitcoin operates on a set of rules called consensus. If a transaction meets these rules, it is included in the blockchain, at its heart a record of Bitcoin transactions. Censorship resistant and immutability defined cryptocurrency, which brings us to one of the most important aspects of Bitcoin from early on. It is censorship resistant. For the purpose of modern banking, a crypto token which passes this last is actually impossible. Censorship as applies to money means in part that it complies with money laundering and political requirements. For example, it's illegal for Americans to do most types of business with Iranians. It's technically illegal to send money to Iranians using Bitcoin, but quite possible. It's not easy at all to send a bank wire to Iran. However, which is part of why they've established their own cryptocurrency network. Talking about Iran. The question then is, what defines a cryptocurrency? It is simply the use of cryptographic protocols to secure transactions, or is it the above mentioned properties which make Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin? The author is too long in this game to mince words. If your token doesn't have the above properties, immutable, cash-like, and resistance to the petty despots of the world, then it's not a cryptocurrency, point blank. This is what most people need to understand about what makes Bitcoin so incredible and any other truly decentralized cryptocurrency. This is the part that I think the world at large is going to miss, and I think that we're going to take that fork to the left and take a detour, because I believe that people are going to embrace digital currency without fully embracing true cryptocurrency, decentralized cryptocurrency. The use of cryptography doesn't make something a cryptocurrency. Cryptography is everywhere. You've already used some form of cryptography today. If you've looked at virtually anything online, you're using it looking at this website. Cryptocurrency is a type of digital asset. There are other types of digital assets such as bank coins and utility tokens. JPM coin is not a cryptocurrency. JPM coin is a bank coin. Now here's the thing. This is where Ripple is toast. Where was Ripple in this? The author first thought on reading the news of JPM coin was the obvious. Why didn't they use Ripple? It's obvious to me why they didn't use Ripple. Everything JPM coin aims to do, Ripple has already done. So why reinvent the wheel? Because they want to control it and profit from it. They don't want Ripple Labs profiting from it. The fact that the largest bank in the wealthiest country opted to create its own token instead of use Ripple is a chilling reality for Ripple. So long. Much like any software-based product, nothing they're doing is immune from being replicated or usurped. If Ripple Labs had any sense, they would have had an office set up outside of every major JP Morgan headquarters and been in every possible crevice of the banking organization. They'd have worked day and night to become the choice of JP Morgan. Because the dirty secret here is that if JP Morgan can do it, so can the next largest bank, and so on. Or, just like they already do, they'll just rely on JPM coin in some cases. They'll outsource it to JP Morgan. They can do it without you. That's the whole point. They can do it without Ripple. They can do it without you, Ripple, and you'll become the token of insignificant banks that can't afford to do the same. Or another possibility arises. Ripple becomes the obvious way for JPM coin to find its way outside JP Morgan. But Ripple is far from the only player in the bank-friendly space. 2017 saw the rise of several, and then there's R3, who actively works to help large institutions develop blockchain solutions of their own. No, listen, when you've got as much money as JP Morgan and you can almost charge money for practically anything that has to do with economic movement, they don't need anyone else. They literally can do it themselves. JP Morgan could buy R3 if they wanted to. Heck, by that nature, they could buy Ripple Labs. Take a walk, Ben Wash. Ben Wash? No, Barron's Ryder, Ben Wash. No. JP Morgan did not just kill the Bitcoin dream. Are you serious right now? You right. JP Morgan's coins rollout also says something about the broader state of technology in the current economy. Tech's promise is no longer about replacing middlemen. It's about middlemen using technology to entrench their profitable position. JP Morgan created an IOU for its own clients. Your viewpoint entirely leaves out the fact that had they done nothing at all, it would have been the same effect on Bitcoin. No effect. More to the point, we've reported here at CCN, where we are experts on the subject as opposed to tourists with an anti-crypto axe to grind, JP Morgan helps expose its clients to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So what the hell are you on about, really? JP Morgan decided to use the blockchain to more efficiently move trillions of dollars between clients. They created a token to do so, which is basically a necessity of using a blockchain. As you said yourself, the coin is not for everyday people. It's not for people at all, really. Thus, its net effect on the health and welfare of the crypto economy is effectively nothing. You too, Jamie Dimon. I don't agree with this right here. You too, Jamie Dimon. Let me explain something. They may cover it, so I'll come back to that. You too, Jamie Dimon. We're not even mad at you, Jamie. We just think you're an asshole. You've gone out of your way to decry the fraud of cryptocurrency, while your firm actively engages in the trading of its futures. In some cases, you've probably opened yourself up to litigation on that front. As you know, the SEC has a long history of taking public statements from well-placed individuals and their effects on the market seriously. That's correct, but SEC probably will not touch Jamie Dimon, and if they do, they'll give him a slap on the wrist. Or JP Morgan, they'll just give him a slap on the wrist. So you want to get into the blockchain game? As I illustrated above, there are at least two big players who've been waiting to hear from you. Why should your clients trust you to do blockchain instead of someone like Ripple or R3? Your firm is more than likely unprepared to do this, right? Hopefully, now that you've launched your little token, you'll pipe down a bit. We're here to stay. If you haven't noticed, not some passing fad. Long after you're dead and your firm has finally been supplanted by a technologically superior alternative, blockchains will be used in several aspects of daily life. Personally, the author believes that something world-changing will derive from the movement. Some aspect like equitable water distribution or public accountability will be the thing that actually makes a blockchain so ubiquitous that society can't imagine going back. But you, Jamie Dimon, you're a non-person in this world the blockchain is building. You're the target of disruption, and you know this all too well. Preferably to you, the world of finance should remain the shady, opaque mess that leads to routine global collapse. Whether you know it or not, your world started ending at block 0 on the Bitcoin blockchain. Give it time, and please take a seat. That's an awesome freaking sentence right there. That is awesome. So here's the thing. JPM coin or some other bank will come in here, Goldman Sachs, somebody, and they're going to ultimately take this over. I've felt that the entire time. This just simply confirms that that is in fact what they were doing. I thought maybe at one point they might use something like XRP or Ripple. At one point I thought maybe they would do that and maybe they wouldn't go out on their own. But it looks like, nope, they've decided to obviously go out on their own. So I don't think Ripple stands a chance. And the reality is this. In order for Ripple to succeed, it means that long term, it means that Bitcoin will have to fail. We will not live in a world where Bitcoin and XRP will last together, because XRP is about mainstream banking. Bitcoin is about ultimately turning banks into this. This is a great photo, by the way. JP Morgan offices circa 2119. I thought that was awesome. And if Bitcoin, in fact, does this, or some other decentralized public blockchain cryptocurrency does this, then there will be literally no use for XRP or Ripple. So I know that, if you're investing in Ripple, you hate my guts right now because it's almost cult-like with you guys. I get it. I don't care, but the bottom line is it's done. Like, it's finished. I would bet my entire stake in cryptocurrency it's finished. And here's the thing. This is, and to be honest with you, this could kill Bitcoin, because we're not in a place yet where people can appreciate, where the general public can appreciate the fact that there's immutable cash-like resistant to petty despots of the world. There aren't many people yet. I mean, people still want to be protected. They believe enough in the system. They want the governments to protect them. They want the governments to pay for their education, their health care. They want governments to pay for, their housing in some cases. There are people looking for universal basic income. This crazy Green New Deal, which will bankrupt us. But the fact that, and by the way, bankruptcy is one of those, U.S. bankruptcy is one of those things that I think is going to steer us towards in the direction of cryptocurrency. But at that point, the U.S. government may do the same thing. Until people decide, I don't want the government trying to protect me because they can't do a good job of it, and I don't want banks trying to protect me because they can't do a good job of it. Until people get to that place where they realize that, then cryptocurrency will never truly be adopted by the masses. Now, there is one argument, maybe this use of blockchain will help steer people towards cryptocurrency, or at least understand it and make it more acceptable. And I think that argument is a fair argument, but I'm telling you right now, until people are like, no, I want to be responsible for my own future. Personal and self-responsibility is not common. It's not a common human trait, unfortunately. And people want to be protected. They want to be taken care of. They'll give up all of their privacy. This whole thing about, who cares if there's this argument against using things like VPNs. There's an argument against all sorts. Well, you guys may be, if you're watching this channel, you're probably more familiar with the argument against VPNs. Why should you use a VPN, or a virtual private network? Why should you use a VPN if you don't have anything to hide? That's like saying, why, and I think it was Edward Snowden who said this, and it was true. Why should you worry about freedom of speech if you have nothing to say? That doesn't make any sense, right? Of course you want to make sure you have freedom of speech. So it doesn't matter whether you're a bad person or not. It doesn't matter whether you have anything to hide or not. You, as in this case, an American citizen, have a right to privacy. These are fundamental foundational rights. Yet people throw their rights away because they want to be protected. Yes, you can snoop on me on the internet. Yes, you can follow me around. Yes, you can oversee all my banking transactions just to make sure myself or somebody else is not a potential terrorist. Yeah, we don't really know what they're watching for, what they're doing, and we don't even know if they've ever. There's been CIA reports that they have never been able to stop terrorism through some of their eavesdropping that they do with the NSA and whatnot. I'm getting off topic here, but at the end of the day, this definitely is going to kill XRP. And for now, at least for the way that the mass society feels in developed countries, because most people still are willing to rely on the government. They still want to be protected. They still want, banks to be able to reverse transactions in certain circumstances. They still want those sort of properties. And as long as that's what everybody wants, then we're not going to have mass adoption. Cryptocurrency is just going to be a tool for speculation, maybe a store of value at some point, a product that goes on an ETF to get traded. But so far, that's all it's going to be until people say, I want my right to privacy, I want control of my own currency, and I don't want anyone else to have control of it. But XRP has really nothing to do with any of that. I mean, nothing to do with any of that. XRP is about providing a service to the banking system. And JP Morgan just put the nail in the coffin for what's going to be a dead project. Thank you so much for watching. I know you've got plenty of feedback. Put it down in the comments below. Let me go back and check out FOMO. This is going to be exciting. Have a great night, everyone. Have a great day whenever you're watching this.